The scars on Naia's back burned in the cold. They always did when it rained, thin white lines crisscrossing her shoulder blades like a map of pain she couldn't remember earning. Alpha Marcus said she'd been found as a baby, abandoned by rogue parents, left to die in the woods. The scars were from wolf claws, he said, evidence of the savage life she'd been born into before the Silverpine Pack took her and out of the goodness of their hearts. Naia had believed that story for 22 years, had worn her gratitude like a second skin, had worked twice as hard as any other pack member to prove she deserved the charity they'd shown her, had accepted every insult, every reminder that she was rogue-born, every subtle and not-so-subtle message that she would never truly belong. She scrubbed the pack house floors now, her hands raw from the harsh soap, her knees aching from hours on the cold stone. It was midnight. Everyone else was asleep. But Naia had learned early that the best time to work was when no one could watch her with those pitying, disgusted eyes, when no one could remind her what she was. Still working? The voice made her jump. Finn, one of the younger warriors, leaned against the doorway. He was handsome in a rough way, and he'd always been kinder to her than most. "You've been at it for 16 hours, Naia. You need to rest. I need to finish." Naia kept her eyes down. Servants didn't look pack members in the eye, especially not rogue-born servants who should be grateful for every scrap of tolerance thrown their way. Luna Cassandra wants everything perfect for tomorrow's ceremony, the ceremony honoring Alpha Marcus's 30 years of leadership. Finn moved closer, and Naia could smell pine and something warm. "You know, half the pack thinks the whole thing is excessive. It's not my place to think anything about it, Naia." Finn crouched down beside her, forcing her to meet his eyes. "You're not a slave. You're a pack member. You're allowed to have opinions. I'm a rogue-born charity case who should be grateful she wasn't left to die." The words came out automatic, well-practiced. She'd been saying variations of them her entire life. "Alpha Marcus gave me a home when no one else would. The least I can do is work hard and not complain." Finn looked like he wanted to argue, but footsteps on the stairs made them both freeze. Luna Cassandra appeared, her face twisted with displeasure. "Finn, what are you doing here?" Her voice was sharp. "Fraternizing with the help is beneath you. I was just checking on Naia. She's been working all day without a break because she has work to finish." Work that wouldn't take so long if she were more competent. Cassandra's eyes raked over Naia with barely concealed disgust. "Rogue blood. Can't expect much from it." Finn opened his mouth to protest, but Naia shot him a pleading look. Don't make it worse." He sighed and left, throwing one last concerned glance over his shoulder. Cassandra waited until he was gone before moving closer. "You need to remember your place, girl. Finn is a warrior from a good bloodline. You are nothing, a stray we picked up out of pity. Don't get ideas above your station." "Yes, Luna." Naia kept her head bowed. "And those scars on your back." Cassandra's voice turned cold. "You should be grateful we found you before the rogues could do worse. Most packs would have left you to die. But Alpha Marcus has such a soft heart, always taking in strays." She left, her expensive perfume lingering in the air. Naia waited until she was sure she was alone before letting herself slump against the wall. The scars on her back burned worse now, like they were trying to tell her something, like they knew something she didn't. She touched the largest scar, the one that ran from her right shoulder blade down to her lower back. It wasn't like the others. The others were random, chaotic. This one was deliberate, precise, almost like a claw trying to mark you. A voice whispered in her mind. Her wolf, quiet, always quiet, but present, like someone trying to claim you before you were taken. Naia shook her head. Her wolf had always been strange, too large for her station, too powerful for someone of rogue blood. The pack healer had said it was probably a genetic anomaly, a fluke, nothing to worry about as long as Naia kept her head down and didn't cause trouble. But lately, her wolf had been restless, agitated, especially around Luna Cassandra and Alpha Marcus, like it knew something Naia didn't, like it was trying to warn her. The next morning, Naia woke before dawn to continue preparations for the ceremony. The pack house was transformed, silver decorations everywhere, elaborate flower arrangements, tables laden with food. Alpha Marcus had invited dignitaries from across 5 territories. It was meant to be a celebration of his successful leadership, but Naia had overheard enough whispered conversations to know it was really about showing off his power, about reminding everyone that the Silverpine Pack was strong and prosperous under his rule. She was carrying a heavy box of ceremonial candles when she rounded a corner and collided with someone. The box went flying, candles scattering everywhere. Naia dropped to her knees immediately, scrambling to pick them up, already apologizing. "I'm so sorry. I wasn't watching where I was going. Please forgive me, it's all right." The voice was deep, warm, with an undercurrent of command that made Naia's wolf sit up and take notice. "Here, let me help." Strong hands began gathering candles. Naia looked up and her breath caught. The man kneeling beside her was stunning. Tall, probably 6'3" or 6'4", with dark hair that fell to his shoulders and eyes like storm clouds. He wore expensive clothes that marked him as someone important, and power radiated from him in waves that made her wolf whine with recognition. "I'm Alpha King Rowan Ashenfell," he said, handing her the candles he'd gathered. "And you are?" Naia's mouth went dry. "The Alpha King, the most powerful shifter in 5 territories." And she just crashed into him like a clumsy child. "Naia," she managed. I'm nobody, just a servant." "I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. I should have been more careful." "Naia," he said her name like he was tasting it. "That's an unusual name." "Old language. It means to lead. I wouldn't know." "I'm rogue-born, foundling. Alpha Marcus took me in as a baby." The words came out automatic. "Always explain. Always make sure people know you're grateful. Always remember you're less than." But Rowan's expression changed. Something sharp and dangerous flashed in his eyes. "Rogue-born? How old are you?" 22. "Why? And you were found where? Do you know?" "In the woods on the northern border. At least that's what Alpha Marcus told me. I don't remember anything before being here." Naia gathered the last of the candles, desperate to escape this conversation. Being this close to the Alpha King was making her wolf do strange things. Making her feel strange things. A pull, like gravity, like recognition. "I should get back to work." "Wait." Rowan's hand shot out, catching her wrist. The moment his skin touched hers, something snapped into place. Something that made Naia gasp and Rowan's eyes flash gold. "Mate bond." No, that was impossible. Rogue-born nobodies didn't get mate bonds with Alpha Kings. That wasn't how the world worked. But her wolf was singing, howling with joy, chanting mine, mine, mine with absolute certainty. Rowan looked equally stunned. He released her wrist slowly, his expression carefully controlled. "We need to talk. Privately." "I can't. I have work." "Luna Cassandra will." "I don't care what Luna Cassandra wants. I'm the Alpha King. She answers to me." Rowan's voice left no room for argument. "Follow me." Now, Naia's training screamed at her to refuse, to explain that she had duties, to apologize for taking up his time. But something deeper, her wolf, the mate bond, some instinct she'd never been allowed to trust, told her to obey. She followed him to a private study, her heart hammering. Rowan closed the door and turned to face her. "Show me your back." "What?" "Your scars." "I need to see them." His voice was gentle but firm. "Please." Naia hesitated, then slowly turned and lifted her shirt. She felt Rowan move closer, felt his sharp intake of breath. "Do you know what these are?" His voice was tight with suppressed rage. "Rogue marks. From when I was abandoned as a baby." "These aren't rogue marks." Rowan's finger traced the large, deliberate scar running down her right shoulder blade. "This is a claiming mark. A parent's mark. Wolves mark their pups with their claws to identify them, to create a magical bond that can never be broken." His voice shook. "And these other scars, these are defensive wounds. Someone tried to protect you. Someone died protecting you." Naia spun to face him. "What are you talking about?" 22 years ago, there was a massacre. The Moonshadow Pack, one of the oldest and most powerful packs in the territories, was destroyed in a single night. Every pack member killed. The royal family slaughtered. Rowan's eyes burned into hers. The Alpha King, the Luna, their advisors, their guards, everyone. I don't understand what that has to do with. They had a baby daughter, 6 months old, the sole heir to the Moonshadow throne. During the massacre, she disappeared. We searched for months, found nothing. Eventually assumed she'd been killed with the others. Her body just never recovered. Rowan moved closer. But what if she wasn't killed? What if someone took her during the chaos, stole her and raised her as someone else? Naia's world tilted. You think I'm no? That's impossible. I'm rogue-born. Alpha Marcus told me Alpha Marcus is lying. Rowan's voice was flat with certainty. I need to examine your claiming mark more closely. May I? Naia nodded, too shocked to do anything else. She felt Rowan's fingers trace the scar, felt power flow from him into the old wound. And then she felt something else. Something buried deep, hidden under layers of magic that felt wrong, felt sick, felt deliberately obscuring. There's a suppression spell on this mark, Rowan said quietly. Someone masked the magical signature, made it impossible to trace. But I can feel it underneath. I can feel the power of the wolf who made this mark. He met her eyes. This is an Alpha King's mark, Naia, made by an Alpha King claiming his daughter. And the magical signature matches the records we have of King Aldrich Moonshadow. Your father. The room spun. Naia grabbed the desk to keep from falling. That's not possible. I'm nobody. I'm rogue-born. I'm your Princess Naia Moonshadow, sole surviving heir to the Moonshadow throne. And someone stole you during the massacre and has been hiding you for 22 years. Naia couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Her entire life, every insult, every reminder of her place, every moment of being told she should be grateful for scraps, all of it crashed down around her. Alpha Marcus, she whispered. He found me. He took me in. He stole you. Rowan's voice was hard. The Silverpine Pack borders what used to be Moonshadow territory. They would have been in perfect position to take advantage of the chaos, to steal a royal heir and hide her in plain sight. But why? Why would he do that? That's what we're going to find out. Rowan pulled out his phone. I'm calling my beta. We need to secure you immediately. If Marcus realizes I've figured out who you are, the door burst open. Alpha Marcus stood there with 4 guards, all armed with silver weapons. His expression was cold. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Alpha King Rowan. Rowan moved in front of Naia, instantly protective. Marcus, this is treason. You stole a royal heir. You've been hiding her for 22 years. I saved her. Marcus's smile was sharp. The Moonshadow Pack was weak, soft. They would have led us all to ruin with their progressive policies and peaceful alliances. Someone needed to take action. You ordered the massacre. Rowan's voice was deadly quiet. You killed an entire pack, hundreds of innocent wolves, including children. I did what was necessary, and I kept the princess alive, raised her, gave her a home. Marcus's eyes flicked to Naia. She should be grateful. Naia felt something inside her break. Not break like shattering, break like chains snapping. 22 years of being told she was nothing. 22 years of gratitude for abuse. 22 years of believing she deserved less than everyone else. And it was all a lie. Her wolf surged forward, and Naia felt power flood through her. Real power, not the muted, suppressed thing she'd always known, but vast ancient power that had been locked away behind the suppression spell on her claiming mark. You killed my family. Her voice came out layered, echoing with alpha command. You slaughtered my pack. You stole me from my home and raised me as a servant, made me believe I was worthless, made me grateful for scraps when I should have been a queen. Marcus's eyes widened. The spell should have held. You shouldn't be able to access the mate bond. Broke it. Rowan's voice held savage satisfaction. The moment we touched, my power shattered your suppression spell. She has full access to her bloodline now. Naia felt it. The power of the Moonshadow line. The power her father had murked her with before he died protecting her. The power that made her not just an alpha, but a royal. Not just a survivor, but an heir. She shifted. Didn't think about it, didn't plan it, just let her wolf take over. And the transformation was like nothing she'd ever experienced. Smooth, powerful, right. She felt her bones reshape with no pain, felt her muscles expand, felt her senses sharpen to impossible clarity. When the shift completed, she was standing on 4 legs, and the wolf staring back at her from the reflective glass was silver, pure, shining silver with eyes that glowed like moonlight. The royal mark of the Moonshadow bloodline. Marcus's face went ashen. The guards actually stepped back. Impossible, Marcus whispered. The suppression spell should have broken your wolf, should have made you weak, should have. Naia's wolf snarled, and the sound held power that made the windows rattle. She felt the pack bonds every wolf in the Silverpine Pack connected to Marcus through his alpha authority. And she felt something else, an older bond. A bond that connected her to territory, to land, to the pack that should have been hers. The Moonshadow territory, still waiting for its heir to return. She shifted back to human form. Finn, bless him, had immediately thrown her his jacket. She wrapped it around herself and faced Marcus with her head high for the first time in her life. You're under arrest, she said. Her voice held alpha command that made every wolf in the room drop to their knees except Rowan. For the murder of the Moonshadow pack, for the theft of a royal heir, for treason against the crown. She looked at Rowan. What's the punishment for that? Execution. Rowan's voice was cold. Public execution so everyone knows what happens to traitors. Marcus lurched to his feet, his face twisted with rage. You ungrateful little bitch. I gave you everything. Without me, you would have died. You owe me, I owe you nothing. Naia's voice was steel. You murdered my parents. You stole my childhood. You made me believe I was worthless when I was a princess. The only thing I owe you is justice. Marcus shifted, his wolf bursting forth in a desperate attempt to fight his way out. He lunged at Naia, claws extended, teeth bared. Naia didn't think. Her wolf surged forward, meeting his attack head-on. But where Marcus was brutal and desperate, Naia was power and fury and 22 years of suppressed royal bloodline. She was faster, stronger, and absolutely done with being a victim. The fight lasted less than a minute. Naia had Marcus pinned, her jaws around his throat, one wrong move away from ending him. Rowan's voice cut through her rage. Don't kill him. He needs to stand trial. Every pack in 5 territories needs to see justice served properly. Naia wanted to kill him, wanted to feel his blood in her mouth, wanted revenge for every insult, every reminder that she was less than, every moment of believing she should be grateful for abuse. But she released him, because she was better than him, because she was a princess, not a murderer, because justice mattered more than revenge. Marcus shifted back, bloody and defeated. Rowan's guards secured him with silver chains. Luna Cassandra, Rowan called. I know you're listening. Present yourself. Now, Cassandra appeared in the doorway, her face pale. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what Marcus had done, liar. Naia's voice was flat. You knew. You've always known. That's why you hated me so much. Why you reminded me constantly that I was rogue-born. You were terrified I'd remember who I really was. Cassandra's mask cracked. He said you'd never remember. Said the suppression spell would last forever. Said we could keep you as a servant and no one would ever know. We just wanted what? Rowan demanded. To rule territory you had no right to. To benefit from genocide? The Moonshadow pack was dying. Their peaceful ways made them weak. We were stronger. We deserved. Cassandra stopped, realizing she'd condemned herself. You deserve prison, Naia said quietly. Both of you. For the rest of your lives. The next few hours were chaos. Rowan called in his royal guards. They secured the Silverpine Pack house, arrested everyone who'd been complicit in the conspiracy. Naia stood in the center of it all, still wearing Finn's jacket, still trying to process that her entire life had been a lie. Finn approached her carefully. Is it true? You're really the Moonshadow princess? Apparently, Naia's voice came out hollow. I'm still processing. I'm sorry. For not seeing it. For not helping you sooner. Finn stopped. You deserved so much better than what we gave you. You were kind to me. That's more than most did. Naia managed a small smile. Thank you. For that, what happens now? Now she comes with me. Rowan appeared at her side. The Moonshadow territory has been under royal stewardship since the massacre. It's been waiting 22 years for its heir to return. Naia needs to see her homeland, needs to learn about her family, needs to decide what she wants to do. I don't know how to be a princess, Naia said quietly. I've been a servant my whole life, then you'll learn, with help, support, everything you should have had from the beginning. Rowan's voice was gentle. But first, you need to rest. You've been through hell today. They left the Silverpine Pack house in the early morning. Naia looked back once at the only home she'd ever known. The place where she'd been abused and broken and made to believe she was nothing. She didn't feel sad to leave. She felt free. The journey to Moonshadow territory took 3 hours. Naia dozed in Rowan's vehicle, exhausted from the emotional whiplash. When she woke, they were driving through a landscape that felt familiar in a way she couldn't explain. Rolling hills, dense forests, a silver river that caught the morning light. This is Moonshadow land, Rowan said quietly. Your land. They crested a hill, and Naia saw it. The ruins of what had been the Moonshadow pack house. Burnt walls, collapsed roofs, nature reclaiming what wolves had destroyed. But even in ruins, it was beautiful. Hauntingly beautiful. Can we stop? Naia asked. I want to see it. Rowan pulled over. They walked through the ruins together, Rowan respectfully quiet, letting Naia process. She touched walls her parents had touched, walked through rooms where she'd probably taken her first steps, stood in what had been the great hall and felt something inside her settle. This was home. This had always been home, even when she didn't remember it. Tell me about them, she said. My parents, my pack. Tell me who they were. Rowan leaned against a partially standing wall. Your father, Aldrich, was one of the finest alphas I've known. Fair, strong, diplomatic. He believed in peaceful alliances rather than territorial conquest. He thought we could build a society where all packs worked together rather than competing. Marcus said that made them weak. Marcus was wrong. Peace isn't weakness. It's strength. It takes more courage to negotiate than to fight, more wisdom to compromise than to dominate. Rowan smiled sadly. Your mother, Luna Sira, was a scholar. She studied ancient pack magic, old rituals, the history of our kind. She believed understanding our past could help us build a better future. They sound amazing, they were. And they loved you desperately. When you were born, Aldrich held you up to the moon and asked the goddess to bless you, asked her to make you strong and wise and kind, to help you lead your pack with honor. Rowan's voice roughened. He died protecting you. When the attack came, he and Sira fought to give you a chance to escape. Your mother's last act was casting a spell to hide your magical signature. Your father's last act was marking you as his heir. They died so you could live. Naia felt tears streaming down her face. She'd never cried in the Silverpine Pack. Crying showed weakness. Crying made people angry. But here, in the ruins of her real home, with the mate the moon goddess had given her, she let herself grieve for parents she'd never known, for a life that had been stolen, for 22 years of believing she was nothing when she was everything. Rowan pulled her into his arms, and Naia sobbed into his chest. He held her through it all, solid and steady and absolutely present. I should have found you sooner, he said when her tears finally slowed. I should have kept looking. Should have realized you were a child yourself when it happened. 22 years ago, you would have been what? 19? 18? Newly crowned after my father's death, dealing with my own grief and trying to learn how to be a king. Rowan's arms tightened. But I still should have found you. You found me now. That's what matters. Naia pulled back to look at him. The mate bond. Is it real? Or is it just because we're both alphas and it's real? Rowan's voice held absolute certainty. I felt it the moment I touched you. My wolf recognized yours, not as another alpha, as my mate, my perfect match, the one I've been waiting for. I'm a mess. I don't know who I am, I don't know how to be a princess or a Luna, or then we'll figure it out together. Rowan cupped her face in his hands. One day at a time, one moment at a time. But Naia, you're not alone anymore. You're not a servant scrubbing floors and believing you're worthless. You're a princess, my mate, and you're going to be extraordinary. What if I'm not? What if I can't do this? Then we'll deal with that too. But I don't think you'll fail. You survived 22 years of abuse and came out strong. You broke a suppression spell through sheer force of will. You faced down your abuser without killing him, even though you had every right to. Rowan smiled. That's not weakness. That's incredible strength. Naia leaned into him, feeling the mate bond settle warm and right between them. She had a million questions. About her parents, about her pack, about what came next. But right now, in this moment, she just let herself be held. They spent the rest of the day exploring the ruins. Rowan showed her the royal quarters where she would have grown up, the library where her mother had studied, the training grounds where her father had taught young wolves to fight. Every room held memories that Naia couldn't quite access but somehow felt. In what had been the nursery, they found something that made Naia's breath catch. A small wooden box, tucked into a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside were baby clothes, a silver rattle, and a journal written in elegant script. Your mother's handwriting, Rowan said quietly. Naia opened the journal with shaking hands. The first entry was dated 6 months before the massacre. Today I held my daughter for the first time. She has her father's eyes and my stubborn chin. She's perfect, absolutely perfect. Aldrich can't stop staring at her. He says she's going to be a great alpha someday, strong and wise and beloved by her pack. I believe him. I look at her and I see our future. I see hope. Naia had to stop reading, tears blurring her vision. She'd spent 22 years believing no one had wanted her, that she'd been abandoned, that she was a burden someone had graciously decided to bear. But she'd been loved, desperately loved, and that love had died protecting her. Can I keep this? She asked. It's yours. Everything here is yours. Rowan gestured to the ruins around them. The land, the territory, the legacy, all of it. You're the rightful heir to the Moonshadow Pack. There is no Moonshadow Pack. They're all dead, then you'll rebuild. Start fresh. Create something new while honoring what came before. Rowan took her hand. And you won't do it alone. You'll have support, resources. Me? Why are you helping me so much? Is it just the mate bond? The mate bond is part of it. But even without that, I'd help you. Because what happened to your pack was an atrocity. Because you deserve justice and a chance to reclaim what was stolen. Because it's the right thing to do, Rowan smiled. And yes, because you're my mate and I'm already half in love with you. Naia's heart stuttered. You barely know me, I know enough. I know you're strong and brave and you've survived things that would have broken anyone else. I know you chose justice over revenge even when you had every right to kill your abuser. I know my wolf recognizes yours as its perfect match. Rowan stepped closer. And I know I want the chance to learn everything else. If you'll let me, I don't know how to do this. The mate bond, relationships, any of it. I've spent my whole life just trying to survive. Then we'll learn together. No pressure, no expectations, just us, figuring it out as we go. Rowan's thumb brushed across her knuckles. What do you say? Naia looked at this Alpha King who'd walked into her life and shattered every lie she'd been told, who'd recognized her worth when she didn't recognize it herself, who was offering her not just justice, but partnership, not just power, but choice. Okay, she whispered. Let's figure it out together. Rowan smiled, and it transformed his serious face into something warm and hopeful. Good, because I'm not letting you go now that I've found you. They spent the night in a nearby town that had grown up on the edge of Moonshadow territory. Rowan got them a suite in the local inn, separate bedrooms. He was very careful to specify, giving Naia space. They ate dinner together, and Rowan told her stories about her parents, about pack politics, about the wider world she'd been kept isolated from. The trial for Marcus and Cassandra will be in 2 weeks, he said. You'll need to testify. Tell everyone what happened. It won't be easy. Will they believe me? A rogue-born servant accusing an alpha? You're not rogue-born. You're royalty. And you have the claiming mark to prove it. Rowan's voice was firm. Besides, we have other evidence. Financial records showing Marcus benefited from Moonshadow resources after the massacre. Testimony from pack members who questioned his story about finding you. The suppression spell on your mark that only someone with serious magical knowledge could have cast. What happens after the trial? That's up to you. You're the Moonshadow heir. You have options. Rowan leaned forward. You could claim your territory and rebuild the pack. You could join an existing pack and live quietly. You could come to the capital and work with me to reform pack laws. Or you could do something else entirely. It's your choice. I don't know what I want. You don't have to decide tonight, or tomorrow, or next week. Take your time. Figure out who you are without people telling you. Rowan smiled. And whatever you decide, I'll support you. Naia believed him. For the first time in her life, someone was giving her actual choices, actual freedom. It was terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. That night, alone in her room, Naia stood in front of a mirror and really looked at herself for the first time. Not as a servant, not as a charity case, but as Princess Naia Moonshadow, sole surviving heir to a murdered pack, daughter of wolves who died protecting her. Her wolf stirred inside her, no longer suppressed, no longer weak, powerful and silver and absolutely certain of who they were. We're going to make them proud, Naia whispered to her reflection. Mom and Dad, we're going to rebuild. We're going to bring justice. We're going to be the alpha they believed we could be. Her wolf howled agreement, and for the first time in 22 years, Naia felt like she was exactly where she belonged. The trial was everything Naia had feared and more. She stood in front of hundreds of pack leaders, all of them staring, judging, questioning. Marcus and Cassandra sat in silver chains, their expressions ranging from defiant to terrified. Naia testified for 3 hours, told them everything. How she'd been raised as a servant, how she'd been told she was rogue-born, worthless, lucky to be alive, how Rowan had discovered her identity, how the suppression spell had hidden her royal bloodline for 22 years. Why should we believe you? Alpha Gregory of the Ironwood Pack demanded. You could be anyone. Some girl Marcus and Cassandra trained to play a role, then examine the claiming mark. Rowan's voice was steel. I've had 3 independent magical experts analyze it. All confirmed it matches Alpha King Eldric's signature. All confirmed the suppression spell was cast the night of the massacre. All confirmed this is the Moonshadow heir. Even so, Alpha Linda of the Stormclaw Pack said carefully, 22 years is a long time. She's been raised as a servant. How do we know she's fit to rule? She doesn't have to rule if she doesn't want to. Rowan looked at Naia. But she deserves the choice. She deserves justice for what was done to her. And Marcus and Cassandra deserve to face consequences for genocide. The evidence was overwhelming. Financial records, testimony from Silverpine Pack members who'd known the truth and stayed silent. The suppression spell itself. By the end of the trial, even the skeptical alphas were convinced. The verdict was unanimous. Marcus and Cassandra were guilty of genocide, theft of a royal heir, treason, and conspiracy. The sentence was execution public, so everyone would know what happened to those who committed such crimes. Naia watched the executions with her head high. She didn't feel satisfaction exactly, just a grim sense of closure. Justice, not revenge, just consequences that fit the crime. After it was over, Rowan found her on a balcony overlooking the execution grounds. How are you feeling? He asked. Empty, relieved, sad, angry. Naia sighed. Everything all at once, that's normal. You're allowed to feel complicated things. Rowan put his arm around her shoulders. What do you want to do now? Naia looked out at the gathered packs, at the alphas and their entourages, at wolves from across 5 territories, all united in witnessing justice. I want to rebuild, she said quietly. I want to reclaim Moonshadow territory, not to create the exact pack my parents had, but something new, something that honors their memory while moving forward." She looked at Rowan. "Will you help me?" "Always." Rowan's smile was warm. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking we open Moonshadow territory to wolves who don't fit elsewhere, rogues who aren't actually dangerous, just different, omegas who want to lead, betas who dream of being more, anyone who's been told they're worthless or broken or don't belong." Naia's voice grew stronger. "I want to build a pack where everyone is valued, where no one has to scrub floors and believe they should be grateful for abuse." "That's a beautiful vision. It's what my parents would have wanted. A better world, a more inclusive world." Naia turned to face him fully. "And I want you with me, not as the Alpha King looking over my shoulder, as my mate, as my partner, as someone who believes in what we're building." "Are you asking me to move to Moonshadow territory?" "I'm asking if you'd consider splitting your time. Part of the year with me, building something new. Part of the year at the capital, being the king your people need." Naia took his hands. "I know it's a lot to ask, but yes." Rowan's answer was immediate. "Absolutely yes. I've been waiting 28 years for my mate. Now that I've found you, I'm not letting geography or politics or duty keep us apart." He pulled her closer. "We'll make it work. Together, together," Naia repeated. The word felt right. After 22 years of being alone, of being isolated, of believing she would always be separate from everyone else, together felt like coming home. Rowan leaned down and kissed her. Gentle, careful, asking permission with every movement. Naia kissed him back and felt the mate bond blaze between them, warm and right and absolutely certain. When they pulled apart, both their eyes were glowing, silver and storm gray, perfectly matched. "I love you," Rowan said. "I know it's fast. I know we're still learning each other. But my wolf knew from the moment we touched. And I trust my wolf. I love you too." Naia's voice was steady with truth. "You saved me, not just from Marcus and Cassandra, but from believing I was nothing, from accepting a life of servitude and abuse. You showed me I was worth more, worth everything. You always were. I just helped you see it." Rowan pressed his forehead to hers. "So, Princess Naia Moonshadow, what's our first move?" "We go home. We go to Moonshadow territory, and we start building." The reconstruction of Moonshadow territory took 2 years. Naia and Rowan worked together, combining her vision with his political connections and resources. They rebuilt the pack house not exactly as it had been, but inspired by old designs mixed with new ideas. They cleared rubble, planted gardens, created spaces for wolves to live and train and thrive. And wolves came, rogues who'd been rejected by other packs, omegas tired of being treated as lesser, young wolves looking for a fresh start. Within 6 months, they had 50 pack members. Within a year, to 100. By the end of the second year, Moonshadow was a thriving community of over 500 wolves. Naia led them with wisdom that surprised even her. She created councils where everyone had a voice, implemented fair laws that protected the vulnerable, trained warriors who understood their job was to protect, not dominate, built a pack where bloodline didn't matter, where everyone was valued for who they were, not what they were born as. And Rowan was beside her through all of it. He split his time as promised: 6 months at the capital managing kingdom business, 6 months at Moonshadow helping build their vision. They worked together like they'd been partners for decades instead of years, like they'd been made for each other, which, Naia supposed, they had been. The official mating ceremony was on the 2-year anniversary of the day Rowan had found her. They held it in the rebuilt Great Hall, with both their packs in attendance. Naia wore silver and white, the colors of her bloodline. Rowan wore midnight blue and gray, the colors of his. "I've spent 28 years alone," Rowan said during his vows, "waiting for my mate without knowing who they'd be or when they'd come. And then I walked into a pack house and crashed into a servant carrying candles, and my world changed forever." He smiled at Naia. "You're strong and brave and brilliant. You've built something extraordinary here, and I'm honored, so honored that you chose me to be part of it. I spent 22 years believing I was worthless, Naia replied. Believing I should be grateful for scraps. Believing I would always be alone. And then you saw me. Really saw me. Not as a servant or a charity case, but as someone precious. Someone worth fighting for. Someone worth loving. Her voice cracked with emotion. You gave me back my life, my identity, my family, and now I'm giving you my heart, forever. When Rowan bit down and the mating mark appeared on Naia's neck over the scar where her father's claiming mark had been, Naia felt complete, whole, connected to someone in a way she'd never thought possible. The pack howled their approval, and Naia knew her parents would have been proud. 3 years later, Naia stood in the nursery of the rebuilt pack house with a tiny bundle in her arms. Her daughter Sira, named for her mother, slept peacefully, her little fist curled against Naia's chest. Rowan entered quietly, his face soft with love. How are my girls? Perfect. She just fell asleep. Naia looked down at her daughter and felt overwhelming protectiveness. I'm going to tell her everything, when she's old enough, about her grandparents, about the massacre, about what happened to me. I want her to know where she comes from, and know that she's safe, that nothing like that will ever happen to her. Rowan put his arm around them both. Because we rebuilt, because we created something better, because we learned from the past without being trapped by it. Do you think Mom and Dad would be proud? Naia asked quietly. Of what I've done, of what we've built. I know they would be. You've honored their memory while creating your own legacy. You've built a pack that embodies their values while moving forward. You've transformed your pain into purpose. Rowan kissed her temple. They'd be so proud. I'm so proud. Little Sira stirred, making small baby noises. Naia rocked her gently, singing a lullaby she'd found in her mother's journals. A song Luna Sira had probably sung to baby Naia before everything was stolen. But it wasn't stolen anymore. Naia had reclaimed it, had rebuilt it, had created something even better than what had been lost. She wasn't a rogue baby found abandoned in the woods. She was Princess Naia Moonshadow, daughter of murdered royalty, survivor of genocide, builder of a new world. She was a leader, a mother, a mate, and a force for change. And she was exactly where she was meant to be. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Where are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts. And if you'd like to support me, please subscribe. It's free and it helps more people hear these stories.